So, even though this says episode 4, this is in fact episode 7. We're in a different location due to the rain. And to start with, I'm going to just video the words that we need to learn to pronounce correctly. I noticed on, I searched on YouTube, and YouTube has a bunch of videos on learning Sanskrit. And of course, if they're going to be teaching it, they're going to, if they're going to be teaching Sanskrit, they're going to do it in the right, they'll pronounce it correctly. So that's one source we could use to learn how to pronounce these words. Okay. Okay. So, okay, I read this yesterday, but I'm going to go over it again. This is on page 29. Unobtainability. This is going beyond all forms of dualism, however differently it may be expressed, whether as being and non-being, or as oneness and manyness, or as this or as that, or as causation or no causation, or as form and no form, or as insertion or negation, or as samsara or nirvana, or as ignorant and knowledge, or as work and no work, or as good and evil, or as purity and defilement, or as ego and non-ego, or as worldly and superworldly ad infinitum. This going beyond a world of opposition and contrast constitutes one of the most significant thoughts of the Mahayana. There is nothing real as long as we remain entangled in a skein of relativity, and our sufferings will never come to an end. We must therefore endeavor to take hold of reality, but this reality is not something altogether solitary. For in this case, no one of us will be able to have even a glimpse of it, and if we had, it will turn into something standing in opposition to this world of relativity, which means the loss of solitariness. That is, the solitary now forms part of this world. Thus, according to Buddhist philosophy, reality must be grasped in this world and by this world, for it is that beyond which is also within. Rhe Lankavatara compares it to the moon in water, or a flower in a mirror. It is within and yet outside. It is outside yet within. This aspect of reality is described as unattainable and unobtainable and unattainable. Anupalata. And just because it is unattainable in a world of particulars, the latter, from the point of view of reality, is like a dream, like a mirage, and so on. The subtlest relation of reality to the world is beyond description. It yields its secrets only to him who has actually realized it in himself by means of noble wisdom, Aryajana and Pranja. This realization is also a kind of knowledge, though different from what is generally known by this name. Without epistemology, without a theory of causation, therefore, Mahayana philosophy becomes incomprehensible. The Lanka is quite explicit in assuming two forms of knowledge, the one for grasping the absolute or entering into a realm of mind only, and the other for understanding existence in its dualistic aspect, in which logic prevails and vijnanas are active. The latter is designated discrimination, vikalpa, in the Lanka, and the former transcendental wisdom or knowledge, pranja. To distinguish these two forms of knowledge is most essential in Buddhist philosophy. The Lanka is decidedly partial to the use of Aryana instead of Praja, although the latter has been in use since the early days of Buddhism. Aryana, noble wisdom, is generally coupled with Prayatma, inner self, showing that this noble supreme wisdom is a mental function operating in the depths of our beings. As it is concerned with the highest reality or the ultimate truth of things, it is no superficial knowledge dealing with particular objects and their relations. It is an intuitive understanding which, penetrating through the surface of existence, sees into that which is the reason of everything logically and ontologically. The Lanka is never tired of impressing upon its readers the importance of this understanding in the attainment of spiritual freedom. For this understanding is a fundamental intuition into the truth of mind only, and constitutes the Buddhist enlightenment which truly starts the religious life of a Bodhisattva. This transcendental jnana is variously designated in the Lanka. It is Pravikaya Buddha, that is, an insight fixed upon the ultimate ground of existence. It is Sabbuti, innate in oneself. Narabhasa or Anabhasa, imagelessness, beyond all forms of tangibility. Nirvikalpa, beyond the discrimination, meaning direct empirical knowledge before analysis starts in any form whatever, which therefore is not at all expressible by means of words. You got that? You can't express it in words. Vak or Ruta, the awakening of supreme knowledge, Anuttara Samakasambhuti, is the theme of Prajaparamita Sutras, but in the Lanka, the weight of the discourse is placed upon the realization by means of Aryajana, or of ultimate reality, which is mind only. This psychological emphasis is so distinctive of the Lanka, makes this sutra occupy a unique position in Mahayana literature. Man, I read that whole bunch and didn't move my book. Oh dear. The knowledge that stands contrasted to prajna or ariana or vikalapa, or simply vikalpa, which I have translated discrimination, is a relative knowledge working on the plane of dualism. It may be called the principle of dichotomy, whereby judgment is made possible. By us, existence is always divided into pairs of conception, thesis, and antithesis. That is, being and non-being, permanent and impermanent, nirvana and samsara, birth and death, creating and created, this and that, me and not me, ad libitum. This is due to the working of the vikalpa. The Lankasha form of existence is presented to us is not its real nature, it's our own thought construction. Vit not be. Yeah, we make it all up. You hear that? We make it all up. But our Buddha, which seeks after pluralities, fails to understand this fact and make us cling to appearance as realities. As a result, the world in which we now find ourselves living ceases to be what is in itself, for it is one we have construction according to our own ignorance and discrimination. Reality escapes us, truth slips off our grasp, false views accumulate, wrong judgments go on, adding complexity upon complexities. The habit energy, vasana, thus created, takes complete hold of the alaya and alaya, and the Absolute is forever unattainable to extricate itself from these encumbrances. Internal transmigration to no purpose must be our destiny. Oh man, it sounds like the human condition out here, running amok and don't even know why. Oh. The twofold truth, satya, the distinction between the highest truth, paramartha, satta, and conventional truth, samvriti satya, is not explicitly held in the Lanka, but allusions are occasionally made to them. It is said that false discrimination belongs to conventionalism. Another word for conventionalism is vihayara, worldly experience, according to which we talk of things being born and destroyed, and also of how, what, where, etc. of existence. This kind of knowledge does not help us to have an insight into the depths of being. Okay. That's going to be enough for chapter 7, episode 7 of the introduction. That's why I say we need help from the Buddha and each other, or we'll just be lost, and then wonder why we're suffering so. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.